everybody, welcome to Playbook by LaserForce Loveland. This podcast is a platform for laser tag players to geek out about strategies, stories, and ongoings in the LaserForce scene, and for you to join us as another player at the table. My code name is Mischief. I'm a player from Loveland, Colorado, who loves to talk about laser tag. And tonight I'm joined by a very special guest. We have Thomiiik, all the way from the Czech Republic, or Tomáš is your first name. How you doing tonight?
Okay, hi everybody. Yeah, I'm doing quite good, thank you. What about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you too for inviting me.
Yeah, so I just want to give a little context. Thomiiik is a co-owner, one of three owners of laser game Gishani out in the Czech Republic, and we had recently put out a video about Laserball, and I had spoken to some other people. I knew there might be some other players out there, but here in Loveland, some of our staff kind of formed the first competitive Laserball community, at least in Colorado, as far as I know. And to me, it was super novel. But two players from the scene, Lucidun and El Diablo, let me know, hey, there's actually a really big Laserball community out there in Europe, and Thomiiik is the guy you want to talk to. So I promptly reached out to you, wanted to just talk to you about really everything going on over there, and talk Laserball with you tonight.
Yeah, that's great. I'm looking forward.
Do you think you could tell us a little bit about your origin story as a laser tag player?
Oh, actually, it's a long story because it's a little bit complicated, because I started as a teenager, like in 2000 something, I think 2006 or 2007. And there was only one laser tag site in all the Czech Republic I'm living.
Oh, really?
And I was a student back then, so I didn't have much money. But yeah, I wanted to play because it was fun. I was playing with my friends, but it was only some games, like 1-2 games per month or per 2 months or something, like not that much like I'm used to play now. But then after some months, sadly, that site was closed. And because it was the only site in that on all the Czech Republic, I couldn't play anymore. So then there was like several years of gap when I didn't play. And yeah, it was a long time. And then I started again because there was some new sites. And it was in Prague. It's the city. It's really near to my city because it's like, I don't know, 10 or 15 kilometers from me. So it's not much distance. So, and there was some team buildings with my friends because he was doing summer camps with children. And it was some summer camps with, it wasn't any laser tag activities. It was just normal summer camps. And we were doing together, like working with the children. And always in Christmas, we had some parties, team building. And first we were doing bowling. And then we suddenly saw that in that bowling site, there is a laser tag facility as well. There is like new laser tag. So we started playing again because my colleague has like the same as me, that he played a long time before, and then there was no site, so nothing. So we started again, like both of us. The colleague is called is Jarda in Czech. He has a nickname Jardis, which is almost the same. So we started together playing again. And we saw that there are some new sites and another new sites and another. So we tested all of them.
Wow.
And we started playing. It was like LaserMax, which is different than a lot of difference than LaserForce. We played Delta Strike, and then we finally found LaserForce site, which is in Prague. It's still ongoing. It's called Mercuria.
Okay.
And it was, I think the most fun we had, it was in that site. So we decided that we start playing there. And we saw that there are some tournaments. So why not? Because we are competitive. So why not to play some tournaments. It was just in standard games, so nothing special, but still tournaments. So.
Right. Once you get that taste of the competition,
exactly.
any game mode will do.
Yeah. So it was some kind of leader. So it was first league, second league, third league. So we started in the bottom in the third league, but I don't know how that happened. But it's we won that third league and got directly to first league. So it was
wow,
wow, we are.
You must have smashed the third league.
So we then came to the first league and was completely smashed.
Wow.
So so there was the like reality of it that you can't, after like 20, 30 games, you can't be a good player, obviously now. But then it was like, wow, we are first league. Yeah. So
awesome.
So we started to train more, visiting some other sites. Then Czech Republic, then Prague. So it was Pilsen site, which was actually the first Laser Force in Czech Republic. Then we started to play in Germany, and after some years of playing, we decided, we are playing so much, actually, why not do our own site? So that is the story. We loved it so much that we created the site for us to play and to start a new community.
All right. And then Laser Game Gichani was born.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not just a cool story. I think that's like a dream for many Laser Force players.
That's true.
So like, I would almost want to take a whole episode and just ask you about what it was like starting a site and how people go about doing that. But I think for now I would just ask you like, how's business?
And actually now it's really, really good. So we are starting to build a second arena. We have like 2 arenas in one site we want to do. So
that's a first. I've never heard of that. I don't know if any other site's done that.
Actually,
do others in?
Actually, it's I wouldn't say it's common, but there's in Europe there are some sites. Like in Prague, there are 2 sites with 2 arenas in one place. And in Germany, there is, I think, some more, but I played in Darmstadt only when there are 2 sites. So yeah, there are some like, and it's really nice to have options to choose one arena, 2, because one can be overcrowded, too many people there, so we can play in second or choose what you want, what you like.
Yeah, that's a common problem. You have like just too many players, and you don't want to make everyone sit out all the time. So you could just run 2 games at once. Okay. Man, I just gotta ask: do you have a favorite between when you go to a site? Do you end up having a favorite between the 2, or do you like switching around?
Actually, I like to play new things, like always the new. So that is the reason I'm traveling a lot and traveling and seeing the other sites. So yeah, I always like the site I'm playing the few games, the fewer games. So,
definitely.
I actually I like some sites, but still the new things like is winning for me.
All right, so let's talk about Laserball a little bit. And I want to give a brief premise for people that Laser Force came out with the game mode. I believe it was only a couple years ago here.
2 years actually, only. I think.
Oh, just
I think
New Year's this year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Okay, yeah, something like that. Because I'm the person who made the briefing video for Laser Force, and that was not super long ago.
Really?
Yeah. I've actually made most of the videos for Laser Force. I work as a videographer on the side.
Cool. Because I used to be a videographer too before.
Oh, really?
So we have this in common.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I can kind of tell by watching the video you sent me. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So anyway, Laser Force came out with a game mode called Laserball, and it's essentially laser tag soccer, or we call it soccer, but everyone else calls it football. So it's laser tag football. If one player has the ball, quote unquote, and when you have the ball, your pack blinks and everybody can tell that you have the ball. If you have the ball and you tag the enemy base, you score a goal.
Yeah.
If you can pass the ball to other teammates, you can clear the ball at your base. The game mode, like we said, is relatively new, but there is a whole Laserball scene out there in Europe. And I want to ask you, like, when did you guys discover Laserball? How did this all get started? And how'd you get to where you are now? Because you sent me all these website links and photos. You've been doing tournaments already with you said 70 plus people between different sites and different countries. I was just blown away.
Yeah, actually, we started Laserball like we loved Capture the Flag actually. So it was really actually it's not that similar, but there it's some elements which are common, which are the same for Capture the Flag and Laserball. So the switch from Capture the Flag actually wasn't that hard. It was like after, I don't know, 3 to 5 games, we decided that we never want to play Capture the Flag again because it's so much more fun. We always wanted to pass that flag and it wasn't working, and it was so sad. And suddenly it was a game mode when we had everything we wanted. So the change was really radical, and since then it's the most popular game we are playing here, and it's by far everything else. It's we are playing only sometimes. Like all the community we have, it's like 70% or 80% of games are only Laserball, Laserball, and Laserball.
Right. Even with just public games. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, actually, not the public games.
Not public games. Sorry, I misheard you.
Like for the experienced people, because for the inexperienced, actually, we want for inexperienced people to have at least like 10 or 20 normal standard games. Then we are introducing Laserball, because before that it's too complicated. But then everybody's blown away.
Sure. It's not surprising, but what do you think it is about Laserball that makes it stand so far above the other games for you?
I think,
or you and the whole site.
Like a lot of things. But actually, it's the team element of it. I think that for some people, it's that you need to work with other people, because if you are playing teams in standard games, you can do that just solo. You're just shooting everybody, and like you don't need to have teams. It's just the same color, but like nothing more. But in Laserball, you need to work together. That's the one thing, and I think the second, maybe even more important, that some players are a little bit more passive, which is good for them if they want to play defense. Or like there are some roles that you can be defending, you can be attacking, you can be in the middle. So the players who tend to camp, they enjoy the game because they can camp and everybody's cheering for them for that. And some players can attack and can run all the plays, and everybody's cheering for them because they are attacking and scoring goals. So it's enjoyable for everybody.
I've never thought about that, but you're right. It really rewards all different types of play styles.
Yeah. So you can have like you can every type of body, every type of like person who attacking defending, like everybody can enjoy that game, which is perfect.
Definitely. Well, I want to hear more about. Can you tell us about how the tournaments began between the different sites?
Actually, our site were first to introduce a tournament in Laserball.
You started it all, okay?
Yeah, like in Czech Republic. I don't know the other countries. I think they were after us, but for example, in Germany, in Darmstadt, They were doing some tournaments as well. So I'm not sure they know about our tournament. So it was like starting in some sites they weren't aware of the other. But
Hmm.
in Czech Republic, we were we were the first one, and we started to playing. Before that, we had smaller arena than now, so we were playing like 5 versus 5,
Hmm.
and then we enlarged the arena, and there were more people who wanted to play the tournament, so we started 7 versus 7. And yes, since then there was a lot of other tournaments in other sites because everybody loves the game. So
Hmm.
suddenly there's like almost every site in Czech Republic is doing some kind of laserball tournament. Not only laserball, but it's doing that, and it's really nice that it's like every 2 weeks there is some tournament in laserball, and every week in
What?
something other. Crazy! It
That's
sounds
amazing. Every 2 weeks, there's a tournament for laserball in the Czech Republic.
like maybe 3 weeks, but yeah, because
But
sometimes it's
like,
for children, sometimes for adults. So yeah, for adults it's like every 2 months or half an hour. Oh yeah, it's
hmm,
quite common.
yeah, it gives me hope. It gives me inspiration because, frankly, a lot of sites out here in the United States have been shutting down recently.
Oh really?
And yeah, some of our main between like the Space Marines players, a lot of sites have been going under, or simply due to like different managers not having much of an interest in
Uh,
building a member base or building a community. It's unfortunately been kind of on the downslide, but we all see how much potential Laser
mm,
Force has.
yeah, it
And
has so much more.
something I keep saying about Laserball is the barrier to entry is so much lower than many of our other high
Like,
competitive game modes. Like the only one that we really do is Space Marines
mm,
5, but people have done Dungeons and
mm,
Dragons. Um,
yeah, I loved it.
I'm not really sure what else. Like Capture the Flag was always a little. I always found it to
Mm,
be a little janky, like with the
yeah,
downtime was
yeah.
really long, stuff like that. But as soon as I played Laserball, I was I couldn't deny that this was one of the most well designed games Laser Force has come out with.
Yeah, yeah. It's game changer of everything.
That's right, game changing laser tag. They back it up, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And there,
So,
yeah,
oh, good.
yeah, it changes everything.
Yeah. So, okay, so there's different kinds of tournaments. You said most are for like local youth and children. Um, I think a lot of our listeners, they could be children. I think a lot of them could be adult players though. How many are how much accessibility is there for adults who want to get into laser ball out there?
I'm not sure I understand. Like, what do you mean
If I'm
exactly? Or
Oh, sorry. Can adults play?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely in our tournaments, like there are children tournaments and adult tournaments, and in that, when we had that 70 people in one place at one tournament, it was mostly adults, but it was like
Mm-hmm.
the best. There was one best children team of the previous tournaments of children, so the best one gets to the adult tournament as well. But
Oh,
mostly
that's awesome.
adults. But it was like from the other sides. Like every side has a little community of like I don't know, 15 to 20 players. So if you
Mm-hmm.
put everything together, you can get a pretty much large tournament. And it was even some teams from Germany. So it wasn't just Czech Republic. It was I don't know 3 teams from Germany. Yeah, 3 teams from Germany actually.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm noticing a theme between kind of your origin story and what you just said. It sounds like a lot of places will use some kind of a pool system where you have to be at the top of one pool to get to a higher rank and play with a different set of players. Is that pretty common?
Actually, it will. It depends. It depends because yeah, when I started, there was yeah, like in Prague there were that 3 leagues. In Pilsen there was a 2 leagues, but now mm, it's not that common now. it's shifted a little bit to something else now, because when the tournaments were in playing in our sites, like it was always the standard games, so it wasn't that fun. Or I think for most people it was that always the same players winning, and this was the reason that some players quit, and suddenly there was only one league everywhere. But we put it, and it was like that league was something like islands. It was only local leagues, and after I started to playing that, we joined everything together to one big league when every good player from every side is playing together. So yeah, it shifted a little bit. Oh, maybe not a little bit, but yeah, it shifted to completely different.
Sure. Well, that brings me to one other question I had. Is there kind of a committee or leadership that runs the tournaments between all the sites?
Actually,
or do
yeah, that's the problem. That I think there is one of the biggest problems now, that every site is doing their own tournaments. And because of that, there is too much of tournaments. So you can't be in every one of them, because if we put like every mode, there's some tournaments in one mode, some tournaments in other modes. So if you put all the tournaments in all the modes together in all the sites in Czech Republic, it's like two tournaments per week, which is absolutely crazy. So you can't do that much. It's like impossible.
Sure.
So yes, so there is no committee or anything like that. Everybody is doing their own, and it's a lot of it. So I think in some tournaments, when the place is too remote or the mode is not that interesting for everybody, there is not much people there. So it depends.
Right.
The people need to choose, because you have so much choosing that and you can't play everything, that you just choose the most important or the most fun ones. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to choose, but yeah, you need to. Yeah, I think it's all right. Actually, I'm not sure about in yours or in USA, or I don't know if the. I'm quite used to playing a lot of tournaments, but I am really not sure how it's working. And the other side.
Sure. Well, you have a pros and cons with your situation. The good is that there's so many sites and so many willing tournament coordinators that people are setting up tournaments left, right, and center, to a point where you have an overabundance. I think that's a pretty good problem to have. But the problem is that there's nothing organizing all the best players or all the sites to come together at any one point. And that, I think that's kind of the function of a committee, which I can tell you that that's what, since you asked, that's kind of what we have with the Space Marines community. And it's mostly United States and Australasia kind of region.
Yeah.
Between like New Zealand and Brisbane and Oakley, and then a bunch of US sites. Those are like the main ones that have been coming. We've had some Europeans. Lucy and Marcus have been attending the last few. But we have a tournament committee where basically there's one or two or three or something site reps chosen for every site, and they kind of represent their player base. And the committee will talk about, adding rule implementations and setting up the next internationals and West Coast and East Coast. We usually do 3 tournaments a year. And that gives everybody time to put it on their calendar, come together at once. And in no way am I saying this is what you guys should do, but I do think it definitely aligns us all as kind of one scene,
Yeah. I think, in maybe some years, or I don't know, but it would be nice to coordinate it more. Or actually, we are trying to coordinate that there will not be 2 tournaments in the same day, but you have you don't have enough Saturdays and Sundays.
Sure, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. As the scene grows, I would bet that it's almost inevitable that you would eventually need some kind of coordination
Yeah, I
or a
think
leadership.
yeah, true.
But this is all so early in development. We're just projecting out, and I'm today mostly just curious about everything.
Yeah, it's different here. Like everything is different. I always
Yeah,
love to seeing your videos or some other videos from Australia or somewhere else because yeah, everything is you are playing the modes we are not playing here much, and everything is like completely new for me.
oh, definitely. Um, well, let me say the GoPro videos are extremely easy to put together. They don't take much
Yeah.
time if you have you just build a template, you copy paste all the footage and the scoreboard in there, and um, you know, that would be hard to get going.
Actually, in our second arena, we want to have a watching platform and a
Mm-hmm.
camera, which will be from upside, like from upper part of roof, like that you can see everything down, like in one big view,
Oh,
and that will be perfect. That you can see all the actions, and I'm really looking forward to that because then
yeah.
it you will have you will know what is going on in the game. So that's the
I'm so
my
excited for that.
big plans here.
Mm-hmm. And that's even easier if you just turn on your
Oh,
stream for
yeah, exactly.
Twitch
Yeah, will be
and have a
perfect.
top-down view. Yeah. Well, I'm very excited for that. And at the end, I definitely want you to let us know anything that we can plug for you, any links we can put in the description. But for the meantime, would it be okay if we kind of shifted towards Laserball itself and talk more about the
Yeah,
game?
sure.
So, like
Like,
when you do a tournament, what's kind of like the format? What are like the team sizes? Do you do any like usually round robins or elimination, or what does it look like?
yeah, actually, most of the tournaments here are round robin
Mm-hmm.
because it's mostly it's like 8 to 10 teams. So it's manageable, but you need to all day for playing that. And the rounds are a little bit shorter than normally because we play Laserball here like for 12 minutes every game.
Mm-hmm.
In other sides, it's 6 minutes and then changing side in 6 minutes. But for tournaments, it's always like six change of sides and again six because then you can't manage the round robin everybody versus everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and to have everything in one day because now the 2 days tournament they are not much common here. Everything is only one day or only
Mm-hmm.
one afternoon or something. That everything is short. It's not like that you play all week long like in your tournaments. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
short. So that's the reason why is there a lot of it and
Mm-hmm.
and the number of people depends on sites because if you have larger arena you can play 7 versus 7 like in our arena and it
Mm-hmm.
is like no problem to play in that much of people, but in some sites who are not that big you need to play like 4 versus 4 because then it will be too much people and it wouldn't be much fun. So yeah, it really depends. Every site is
Mm-hmm.
a little bit different in that.
Yes, I could definitely see how you would want to change this team sizes based on the arena you're playing in.
Yeah, it's you need to do that because actually in my arena it depends on number of people where we play because if there is only 6 people we play in small part of arena like on
Mm-hmm.
targets. I think you probably won't and nobody will see the map I sent you probably, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like orange versus white. So it's only small part of arena. We are playing if there is not much people. If there is more people, like 4 versus 4 or 5 versus 5, we are playing blue versus red target. When there is more people, we are playing blue versus orange target. And
Mm-hmm.
times when there is a lot of people and like it's overcrowded, we play sometimes here and not in the other sides, but here like 12 versus 12 on white versus green, which is like the most
Wow.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And the game is completely different, and there you play 3 versus 3 or 12 versus 12. But still, it's fun. It's different. It's
Yes.
like a little bit different modes, but yeah, still you can have fun with it. So
Yeah,
that's maybe
definitely.
one of the reasons of Laserball, that it doesn't matter much how many people is playing. Still, it's fun.
Yeah, in essence, it doesn't matter how many's playing. I know the strategy changes with more players and
Yeah,
with
yeah,
every
yeah.
arena change. But yes, honestly, there have been some games where I hardly ever touch the ball and I tag a lot of people and it's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
laser
yeah.
tag. It's just I'm still helping my team.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So it's not that 12 on 12 is inherently bad. It
Yeah,
changes the flavor of the game pretty
yeah, yeah,
drastically.
yeah. So yeah,
Um,
yeah, if you play 3 versus 3, the fast player has a really advantage.
mhm,
Because, they can outrun you, and sorry.
right.
But if there are more people, the skill, or like the general laser tag skill, is much more important. So there are here, for example, there are some players which are really, really good in small when they are playing like 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3, 4 versus 4. But they are
Mhm,
really bad when they are playing 12 versus 12. So it really depends, yes, for the situation.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Totally different strategies.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So speaking of fast players, I wanted to ask you about some of the rules that you all utilize. This is something I know
Hmm.
that the Space Marines community will be kind of curious about,
Uh-huh.
and I want to say up front that I don't think there's an inherently like right or wrong way to play the game. We've learned a lot over the. It's not even me. It's that a lot of people who've been playing since like the '90s have been coming together with some rules that we use for Space Marines. A few of them being that um, we do this thing where we always show an extra target when we fire at someone.
Mhm.
So if I'm going to shoot at you, I
Yeah,
can't put my gun around the wall. I have to bring my shoulder out as well as my gun. It's
yeah.
kind of similar to if you play a online shooter video game, how all the units
Hmm.
just kind of run around with their gun on their chest.
Hmm.
We have a rule about how you can't follow a deactivated player for more than 10 feet.
Hmm.
And well, the last one I'll get into in a little bit, but what is your rule set for Laserball?
Actually, I want to hear your as well, because like every rule you set now, there I think it doesn't work for laser ball at all. Like
Okay.
I really can't imagine laser ball when you can't chase a player with a ball. I think it can't work, or it would sound
Oh,
pretty strange for me.
well, you can chase someone who's active. So if you have the ball, I can chase you all over the arena.
Okay, okay.
It's if I tag you down and you run away from me, I can't follow you while you're deactivated to reset you.
Okay, well, that's different. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because we are not much fond of too much rules.
Mm-hmm.
So we, yeah, yeah. So maybe it would,
It's okay not to have the same rules.
it would sound maybe something like blasphemy or something to you. Yeah, but but
No,
here,
that's strong language. We want to hear it, you know?
yeah. Actually, if you are playing Laserball here, I
Mm-hmm.
think this will be for all of the Europe probably. I'm not sure about the UK, but I think as well that you
Mm-hmm.
can follow everybody as much as you want. You
Mm-hmm.
presets that you shoot one person, the others you chase the first one, then you chase the second one, then you chase again the first one. You absolutely
Mm-hmm.
can do this. Absolutely no
Mm-hmm.
problem. Everybody's okay with it, because we see that it's really important for the defense that somebody is attacking you, you shoot him or her, and then you shoot the
Mm-hmm.
target, then you shoot again this person, again target, and that person needs to go as far as possible, because you can chase that person pretty much everywhere you want.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
working. If you need to have active defense, not just the player camping on over one obstacle all the way. You need to chase that player away from your target. So yeah, you definitely need to do that, or at least I think it's working here. And after more than 1,000 laser balls, I think
Mm-hmm.
still it's fun. So
Yeah.
that's the one thing. You can chase everybody as much as you want.
Mm-hmm.
And actually sometimes it's no point to chase some player who is like away from all the action. You just need to chase that person away from your goal, and that's it. You just nobody's
Mm-hmm.
chasing again and again because there is no point in it. So it's
Right.
like the rule. It's you don't need that rule because it's working out completely by itself. It's
Mm-hmm.
because there is unlimited life, so you can't shoot that person out of the game. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that's
Definitely.
one rule.
Okay.
The second rule, I'm not sure about. Yeah, showing the sensors. Yeah,
Right.
you can do everything as well.
Yeah, you can bring your gun all the way around the wall and
Yeah,
way up and over your head, and
I mean,
doesn't matter.
completely everything doesn't matter anything, and
Okay.
it still is working. It's different because it's again it's good for the defense because you are in the other side of the wall. You are just looking by your eyes by your head, but no, you're showing
Mm-hmm.
pictures, so you see the action, and then if you see somebody with the ball, you just shoot him clear fastly, and again you are just looking. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good to have options to have a strong defense because it's fun to clear the ball. I guess. Because when there is too much goal, there is not that many action because you need to go back and again start. So I think if there are some rules or missing rules that are going for the defense, like advantage for defense, I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a good thing to have.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that explanation. I have another question for you, but first I want to give my opinion here,
Yeah,
or
sure,
make a statement
I want to hear.
because, well, because I want to be very clear that just because we're on this platform,
Yeah,
I am not speaking for the U.S. and the Australian or any
yeah,
sites or I think other players are going to have their own opinions,
yeah,
and that's completely fair
definitely.
and fine. Um, but I will say I think we get a little. I think we need to have respect for other cultures and how other people play.
Yeah,
We have an international rule set that if anyone wants to come play Space Marines with us, they need to adhere to that rule set, and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
completely valid. We have our rules so that we can play a certain type of game in a certain type of context.
Mhm.
Now, that being said, um, you're already playing this game and you have a thriving scene with these rules.
Mhm.
So if it were just my opinion, I would never come in and try to get you to change them if they're working, you know? If I could look and say, well, you should implement a certain rule because it would make the game better in this certain context, and that's fine. But all these things are completely fair and fine as long as both teams are allowed to do them. It's equal opportunity.
Yeah,
Like you said, it's designed to give advantage to the defense that you allow the following.
mhm,
And I've been playing with our staff a little bit over the last few weeks.
mhm.
They also allow pop shotting. They don't have any kind of a following rule, although I think I might have given them a reason to think about one for a minute because I was resetting like 3 of them and I got 45 tags or something. But
Yeah.
um,
If there is one very good player, it's really hard for the other. That's true.
but I had fun. I don't see anything inherently wrong with oh man, I'm gonna get chewed at. I don't see anything inherently wrong with the pop shotting or following as long as everyone's allowed to do it. It's a completely different type of
It
game.
is. It is.
Um, so, but that's a discussion for different people to have. I'm not so secretly never been very much of a rule stickler. I try never really to really penalize people if they weren't trying to cheat and it wasn't really like, as long as people are following the spirit of the game, I think fouls and penalties tend to just make the game a worse experience. So that's an inherent benefit to you not being so rule heavy. I like that, actually. But again, I do not speak for the SM5 community or anybody else except for myself on that.
Understandable.
But I had a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said the resetting and the following allows for an advantage to the defense. What about if a player on offense gets into the enemy base and tags down everybody there, and they're resetting all those players? Do you think is there any problem with that, to clear out a base and keep all the defenders down while your other teammate comes in with the ball?
Yeah. This is a fun thing to talk about. Yeah, I personally, and I think like 70-80% people here are agreeing with me. It's completely okay. It's part of the strategy to clear the base and to have somebody to pass to and you score a goal. And I think the most safe thing to do, because if you are rushing with the ball, and with that advantage with pop shotting, you don't have much option to rush. You need to be a really, really strong player to rush full speed and shoot everybody who is covered. It's like sometimes really impossible. So you need to have that strategy, or you need to first shoot out the base. And most of the people, not the new ones, they are sometimes upset about it. But when I explain the reasons, they then agree, and there is not much problem about that after that. But
for sure,
most people agree that if the base is shoot out, every defender needs to go out, needs to hide somewhere, be reactivate, and then there's the fun part. You need to attack your base, actually.
Take it back. Yeah.
Take it back. And I really love that part. It's so fun to attack your own base. Because sometimes the attackers of the other team, they will clear out the base, but the ball is somewhere else. And then it's like time clock that you really need to get your base as fast as possible, because then it's an easy goal. But still the base is well defended, so it's like a really hard options to do something. But it's fun to attack your own base. It's different, but it's fun. I really enjoy it.
I agree with you, because and it's okay. This is okay. My staff have implemented a passing rule where, sorry, not my staff, the Loveland staff implemented a passing rule where if you get tagged down as an attacker in the base, you're allowed to say passing, and no one's allowed to tag you while you leave the base. And there's another rule where if you're attacking a base, you're only allowed to stand in the enemy base for 10 seconds, and you have to be actively moving. And that gives advantage to the defense, which is sometimes needed. But but if you go in without the ball and you take out 3 people and you're just tagging them all down, why should that player be punished? Why should they have to leave just because they got everyone down?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's that player is good, so why penalize him? Exactly.
I don't know. I'm not. I think that takes away from the fun a little bit, and handicaps the level of skill that can be implemented into this game.
Yeah.
Again, I don't speak for my staff. I'm just speaking from my own opinion.
Actually, I'm speaking for like most of Czech Republic, but there are sites, other sites, which have a little bit different rules. So I'm not speaking for all the Europe, because it's I'm speaking like Middle Europe or something like that. Because for example, in München, in Germany, I'm friends with a lot of people there, and they have a little bit different rule. Like everything I said is allowed except the shooting out the base. In their arena, this is the only difference, that you need to attack with the ball. You can't at all. You can't stand without the ball at the enemy base. So that's
Oh.
so that's the only thing which is a little bit different, or actually here is it makes a difference. So yeah, then yeah, it has advantage to defense, but I'm not sure about it rule. I don't like it much, but yeah, they have it, so I can't do anything about it.
Sure.
Yeah, so some sites had different rules, but for example, like in Darmstadt, another city in Germany, which is doing laserball tournaments as well. So there was no rules about it. So everything allowed, like in our sites, and we had like almost the same rule set, but we weren't aware of each other. So it was like we we get to that like completely separately, and it is almost the same. They only have 0.2 reset time, and we have 1 second reset time. So that's the only difference about Darmstadt and our side. But everything else, like you can be at that base and so on. That's no problem. So there are some variation in Europe, but normally you can follow, you can pop shoot everything, no problem.
Awesome. Thanks for that explanation. And yeah, I want to talk about resetting because I wrote down when you told me about your reset that you've essentially programmed it so that you get 5 seconds of safe downtime where you can't be reset, and then 1 second of unsafe where you can be reset. And I thought, whoa, you shortened it, because for us it's like 4 and 4.
4 and
maybe
4?
It's 3 and 3.
Oh my god, really?
I really think it's 4 and 4. We have a long
Laserball?
downtime.
Really, in Laserball?
It could be 3 and 3, but I think it's 4 and 4.
Oh my god!
From my experience.
Oh my god!
But you said that no, we elongated it. There's no reset timer at most sites.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, but it's quite interesting because like first I don't know 50 laser balls or 100 laser balls we played without resets at all. It was only 5 seconds safe time, and that was it. But then we find out that there can be a person who will go to enemy base and just shooting people there. And if that attacker is deactivated, he can just stay in the base and just reactivate because it's only save time, so it's no problem. And then shoot again, everybody, and it was really not fun for everybody. So after that, we introduced that 1 second reset, which for you is like almost not existing. But for
you have to be actively ready to shoot them during that 1 second, I think, right?
Yeah, you can manage. It's a lot of time.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, so yeah, we introduced that, and there was some kind of opposition, but not much because everybody understands that it's stupid to stand in the opponent base and just reactivate, and it's really not fun. So after that, I think everybody agreed it's a great idea. It's hard to know how to play resets when you had 100 games without anything like that. So yeah, it was a big deal. But yeah, we agreed that 1 second is perfect because then it's the same as saying about the following. If you can hide that 1 second, you will reactivate and you have a little bit of chance. So if it would be 4 and 4, you have like 0 chance to hide if the chase is like allowed. It will be really hard for new players because they will be constantly down like all around. So it's good to have a short reset time, but to have some reset times, because in Darmstadt when that reset time was 0.2, it was like almost non-existent. Like that active player had some kind of advantage, but it was so small that like almost non-existent. So I really like that 1 second way more. And yeah, it's fun like playing here.
I want to try it. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, because it's more like active playing time for everybody. Like if you are down 8 seconds, and from that 8 seconds, it's so much chance that you will be hit again and again. 8 seconds, it's crazy for me. I think most people wouldn't have that much fun than they are having now.
Well, we still have fun, but it definitely punishes mistakes a little more.
Yeah, a lot. In my opinion,
Um,
it's crazy to think. I know that you are used to it in Space Marines, but here when you play Laserball, it's really fast. It's crazy, crazy fast. I don't have the proper words for that, but the pace, everybody's. I wouldn't say running at full speed, but because you still have a labyrinth, but the pace of the game is incredible. So if you will be like 8 seconds down and then again, it wouldn't have, it wouldn't be that fast.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can definitely conceptualize what it would be like to play with that shorter reset timer, and I hope to try it someday. I really do. And
Yeah,
no one, there's
it's
no
different.
definitive right or wrong as far as what's the right way to
Yeah.
play. I think that's still being
You can play
determined.
everything. Yeah.
But like I said, there might come a day when a bunch of people who've been playing the game a long time, like you've played 1,000 games. That's so many games in just the couple short years that it's been out. Like
Yeah.
I would trust your opinion much more than I trust my own, to make the decision of what the rule set should be.
Yeah, but maybe there is something even better, but and I don't know about it. Yeah, it's possible. I wouldn't say that I know everything. Never.
And that is a great
Maybe,
attitude to have.
but as far as I know, like here, it's fun, and it's fun even after 1,000 games. So I think it shouldn't be bad, at least. And
Definitely.
yeah, it should work for like most people.
Okay, I'm curious about a few things involving your strategies out there. Because we haven't really been taught by anybody how the game is played in really competitive settings. We're just kind of figuring it out for ourselves.
Yeah,
So,
it takes time actually.
so what's common in terms of like offense, defense, goalies, midfielders? What are like the positions as you conceptualize them?
Actually, depends pretty much on arena, pretty much on settings, because in some arena when they are small, the save time should be lower as well. So we are not playing only 5 seconds and one reset. Sometimes it's 4 seconds and one reset, or 3 seconds and one reset. Because if it's small
I like
arena,
that.
it's more fun to be more active, because then it will be only goal after goal after goal, and again, not much fun. So it really depends on the arena, because if the time is short, like 3+1, it's really hard to have some strategy, because if everybody can follow everybody, you always have somebody at your back. So you need some
Right.
cooperation, and it's like one of the most important things of the strategy is if you have a ball, to have somebody before you to shoot out the defense before you, and somebody after you on your back, and shooting the players who try to shoot your back. So it's like
Okay.
some
Yeah.
kind of, I would say, train.
Sure. Yeah.
So first one, it's clearing the way for the ball. Then there is a ball, and there are the opposing players who are trying to get a ball, and then there are defenders who are trying to get that players who are trying to get a ball. So
Right.
so kind of train, but it doesn't look much like a train, because when the game is fast and everybody chasing everybody, so it's not not like that, but sometimes it's looking a little bit kind like this one. So yeah, so the basic strategy, like shoot out the defense, and then the pass the ball is the first one. What when we talked about it before. The second strategy, it's a coordinated attack from both directions or three directions. It depends on the arena.
Sure.
So to have attack, when you are attacking from both sides at exactly the same time, the defenders really can't do much about it. Because you need to look at one side, and when you get rid of the defenders behind one obstacle, the other defenders who is defending the other part of the arena, the second one, you can shoot them easily to back. So that coordinated attack, if one side is attacking side is winning, then every defender is out. I don't know if
Okay.
I explained it rightly.
No, that's actually a super common Space Marines strategy as well.
Okay. So
or for any game mode, attacking from multiple directions at once. That's it's almost common sense.
Yeah, and sometimes there is a third strategy, but it's quite it is hard to get it right. So it depends on the situation that you are trying to clear goal. That you will have a really strong defense and like one or two attackers, and trying again get this attacker to enemy base and try to win the base, and then when the opposing attack will be cancelled, like that you will clear the balls, that you will clear the other side and then score the goal. But it depends. Sometimes it's good to have this strategy, but it's really dangerous.
Sure, that makes sense. You're kind of risking, we're going to draw all the enemy players to our base, and then we're going to clear the ball away from them. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, that depends on the arena as well, because if the arena is small, it doesn't make much sense to do that strategy. But if it's really, really big, then it's working. So the strategy depends on knowing the arena, knowing where to shoot. And there is a fourth strategy, but I wouldn't say that it's strategy. It's run as fast as possible, shoot everybody before you, and score the goal.
That does work once in a blue moon.
But still there is a lot of players doing that.
Right. All right. Hey, I want to move down to another question, if that's all right. I want to talk about new players. If would you get new people coming into the scene, like how big is the skill gap between like them and you, and how long does it take for them to kind of work their way up the ladder?
Oh, this skill gap is incredible. For new players, it's hard to be decent. So, like when there is a new playing against players who have like 5 games or 10 games, the newbies are completely destroyed, absolutely completely. But when the players with 10 games or 20 games are playing against the players with 100 games, again completely destroyed. And 100 games versus 1,000 games, again completely destroyed. Like you can easily win 1 versus 3 or 1 versus 4 even. The skill gap is absolutely insane in this. You need to have like really 100 games. So like maybe I think if you are talented, you need like 200 or 300 games to be a good player. At least. It really takes a long time. Then if you are going to another arena, it's just some games like 5 and you know the arena and it's okay. But if you are playing this for the first time and you are playing against the best players, you are users in the game. You are just we call it like a reset point, moving reset point.
Yeah. Nope, that's I think that probably is universal amongst other types of laser tag as well.
Yeah. But here, it's really we are trying all games to be as even as possible. So one of the most important part of being a owner here, or like organizer of member games or member nights, to have is like the most skill to have the game to be even, like to do to uh, to put the good players, not everybody in one team, but to evenly spread all of the players, that everybody will have fun. And it's
Hmm.
really hard because that skill gap is really big. So, for example, if there are like people who are playing for the first time and they want to play Laserball for the first time,
Hmm.
we as and they have like birthday party and they choose Laserball because they are a little bit experienced, but not that much. So it's really hard to get the team even. So we as the owners or like organizers of the parties, we are going into game with them and
Hmm.
trying to even the game. So because we have so much skill that we can do, we can even the game, and we are trying to even the game that we are passing to players, that players will score the goals, not
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So we are just like the defenders who are passing or something like. And it's really
That's funny.
it's yeah, it's really hard to get that for the first time, that it will be fun for everybody, because like one good players can destroy the opponent's team completely. So I think that about that skill gap, it's hard to get. You need to get up. You need really a lot of games, and sometimes if you are destroyed like 10-0 or 12 to 2 or something like that, sometimes you don't want to play baseball again because it's not fun then. So we are trying to even that
Yeah,
every game we are playing here, like complete every game we are trying to even, and then everybody will get fun.
yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense. It shows that the game has a depth that you can play it 1,000 times and still be improving.
Yeah.
And it gets me thinking, I wonder what the highest level of competition is going to look like in 5 years. If we
Oh,
have, if we have a worldwide laserball tournament, all the best
mm-hmm.
teams come together, just how different can that
Mm-hmm.
skill gap take the game to another level, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's true. Actually, yeah, there. Yeah, but I was talking about Czech Republic now, because like in Germany, it's more like I would say teamwork, like that. Always one person is having the ball. Always that
Hmm.
one who everybody chooses, like the ball carrier.
Hmm.
Always one or two persons are attacking, and always the same one is defending. And in our arena, it's more like everybody's doing a little bit of everything, and we are rotating. So yeah,
Sure. So
so
kind
I,
of
I
some
would,
different play styles from site to site
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
country to country.
Yeah, so it's always interesting when we are doing some matches, like the German teams versus Czech teams, and as well, and
Hmm.
it's completely different style of play. And yeah, it will be interesting to see after like 2, 3, 5 years that
Hmm.
what strategy was better, or maybe both strategies are good if you have a good players. I really don't know how it will look, and I'm really looking forward to see how different it can be.
Yeah, definitely. At this point, we're speculating and dreaming. We'll
Yeah,
find out someday, I think.
yeah, maybe we will have a longer reset or shorter reset, or I really don't know how it will, because it's only 2 years here. So yeah, everything can happen.
If a foreign player wanted to get involved in a laserball tournament, what would they need to do?
Hmm. Oh, it depends on the tournament and the style.
Hmm.
uh, if you are at
Like,
all,
let's just say hypothetically, me, I wanted to come out and visit,
uh,
see some of the Czech Republic for fun, and then would there be any prerequisite or requirement for me to play?
I think not. I think just say it at the advance as possible, and we will find
Mhm.
your team.
Do you think are there certain like groups, Facebook pages, Discords, like places that the players
Not much.
congregate to talk about this?
Not much. Actually, yeah, we have like Žičany Discord. That every player from Žičany has a Discord, and we are talking about the tournament and so on. There is a Facebook group in Prague. There's a Facebook group Pilsen and the Majlice sites. Discord group in München in Germany, and I'm not sure about the others, but there is nothing like central. You don't have
Mhm.
connection to everybody. Everything is decentralized, so you need to write to a lot of places, or to write to good to somebody who will be good to you and will organize everything for you.
Sure. Not to put you on the spot, but are you an okay person to contact for
Yeah,
an aspiring traveler?
definitely. Yeah, just say, yeah, we will have tournament here. It will be maybe a bit bigger than the last one when it was 70 players last one. But I think maybe it will be 12 teams of 7 players here. So maybe it will be 84, but we will see. So it will be 2nd of December. I don't know if you have
Mhm.
time, but that I think it will be one of the biggest events. Not sure in Europe, but yeah, probably yes.
Wow, that sounds so amazing. Unfortunately, I am in an internship right now. I may not be able to make it
Uh,
out this time, but I have my eyes
yeah,
set.
yes. Say
Even
a date. There always be a tournament here. So yeah, like there are twice
yeah,
per week.
apparently
Maybe it
any
used to be a
given
laser ball,
week
but so yeah, everything. There's always something. So yeah, just come and I will tell you where to come.
for sure. Hey, I'd love to wrap up with just a couple for fun questions.
Okay, okay.
Um, are there other game modes that are popular in Europe? And if so, are there any tournaments for those?
Mm. In Europe in general, I like yeah. Maybe I would start with Czech Republic, then maybe
Hmm.
Europe. In Czech Republic, most popular is Laserball. Then, unfortunately, standard games.
Hmm. They have their
Then,
place.
like, mm, actually, there's not much we play. Like, sometimes it's Gladiator, sometimes it's Revolver, which I think you don't have. It's like that aim with 6 bullets.
We have
And
one called
yeah, but
Huntsman.
for oh yeah, Huntsman, yeah, Huntsman, but oh no, it's different Huntsman because then you need to shoot the targets, but with the revolver don't not. Uh, yeah, actually, yeah, it's not in Czech Republic. It's not much variation. For example, Space Marines, there's almost nobody plays Space Marines. Like
Hmm.
once per year on tournament, and that's it. So
Yeah, for sure.
it's not much popular here, unfortunately. Actually, in my side, it's a little bit different because here, like Laserball, like 79, 70, 80% only Laserball.
Hmm.
Then it's Space Marines and Dungeon and Dragons and Highlander
For sure.
and
All good
Domination.
game modes.
Yeah, we love it as well, and that's the
Cool.
most playing games here and actually level up, but this for the new customers here. That we are not playing standard games at all. We are always playing on a level up and level up and level up for the new customers, and it's so much better because there you don't have anybody who is destroying the others, and that's better.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and for the
those really
Europe,
uneven
yeah,
games where people are getting destroyed, that'll send people back into a different
yeah,
sport entirely
yeah,
if they
yeah,
just have to
exactly.
stay there.
So yeah, so yeah, and for the Europe, I think yeah, like something like laser ball, in some sites, only some sites, Space Marines. Uh, some in Germany, it's like laser. How it's called? Laser League Deutschland or something. I'm not sure about that exactly, but it's
Sure.
something like it's based on Z emulation, the type of game, but it's
Hmm.
like it's similar to standard games, but you can shoot only 0.2 seconds after you respawn. So there is anti-spam it's called. So you can't shoot directly after you respawn, but there is no reset time or anything like that. So yeah, kind of it's different.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
shadows
just
are
different.
popular. Yeah,
Mm.
and I don't think there is much of games. And I think in UK it's Dungeons and Dragons in some sites.
Mm.
In UK, Space Marines definitely, Laserball, but yeah, I don't think there's much of games which are generally popular among every site in Europe. I think every site is a little bit different in this.
Sure. And I hope you'll forgive me that I keep referring to Europe because I know there's many different countries, many different sites and cultures within
Yeah,
Europe.
right.
But the truth is that there's very few people from Europe in any of those countries in the Space Marines community, the international one, anyways.
Yeah,
Um, in
that's really sad.
2022, we had a couple people from Germany and a couple people from like 3 people from the UK come out in
Mhm.
2022, and I think it's fair because I mean Space Marines has such a high barrier to entry that
Yeah.
if you aren't playing it consistently or not introduced to the rule set, I mean you're gonna come out and get completely whooped. And it's a you know a lot of money to travel. You want to play a game that you're gonna have
Mhm.
fun and maybe get some wins. You know. I mean those players were really good, and you could tell they had played a lot of laser tag, but Space Marines is its own beast. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
As I'm sure if I came out to play laser ball, I would get completely destroyed by you and your players.
maybe. Actually,
Oh,
it's a lot of knowing the arena as well. So
yes,
at first,
exactly.
yes, but then I think you will get used to it.
Mhm. Well, I'd like to wrap up the discussion here if that's all right with you. And I wanted to ask you if there's one
Mhm.
thing you want players who are listening to take away from all of this.
Mm. I think try new things because in every site the rule set is different, the resets are different, sometimes really high, sometimes really low, sometimes non-existent. So I would say try the new things because everything is fun. If I would say for me, I really loved my UK trip because I saw a lot of games which are playing completely different, like the Space Marines that I played first in my life in your rules, and it was fun. But when we play in our rules, it's fun as well. So yeah, so it's
Mhm.
try new things, and in every side it can be fun and it can not be fun. It depends and on the side, on the rule set, but still try it and then see.
Right, definitely. Yep, try new things. And I want to shout the praises of all the European players who have come out to try Space Marines. Like Lucy, Marcus, Smalley, anybody else I'm missing. I mean, there's more than that. And I hope that we start to develop the same open mindedness that we'd be willing to come out and try playing with you with your rule set and just start to really bridge some of the gaps and unite the Laser Force community worldwide. I mean, you
Yeah, do we
have something
perfect?
really special going out there. And the other thing I'd say people should take from this discussion is that Laser Ball is here to stay. It's a good game
It
mode,
is.
and I, if you haven't tried it, go try it.
Definitely, definitely.
All right. Is there anything that we can plug for the listeners for you? I was gonna put all the links to your website and your YouTube channel out, but is there anything else?
I need to think about it. Maybe yeah, definitely videos. I need to think about it. But yeah, I think there will be some other things, photos, and yeah, our blog. As sadly is in Czech, everything. So I'm not sure. Maybe with translating, like in this
Oh,
time,
yeah.
you can translate everything pretty much very good. So
That's
yeah,
right. It's
let's do it.
2023. We can translate whole pages with the
Yeah.
click of a button.
Yeah, so maybe
So
it's not that much problem. So yeah,
I'll just say that anything that that Tomasz gives me, I will put in the description.
yeah,
And one of those will be a link to his YouTube channel, Laser Game Gichani, and there's Gichani, and there's did I mess it up? Was that right?
and this time it was perfect.
Cool.
So,
There's videos of the I'm trying. There's videos to some of the recent Laserball tournaments and some promo videos that are super cool, and you should check them out.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, and hopefully we'll see you in person one of these days.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope too. I would definitely want to be at some Space Marines tournament. Only thing is that I don't want to fly, which is quite a problem.
Sure.
So in Europe,
For now.
yeah, no, I don't want to fly at all.
Oh,
So
I mean, I
in
hope
Europe,
someday there's a tournament hosted out in Europe.
yeah, exactly. My side. I'm trying
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my site that it will host the Space Marines tournament because I really want to have this everything here. It'll be so good and so fun. So
Wow.
I hope it will work out.
I just want to say I would love to do that, and I think there's a lot of people who would love to do that. If you're willing to play with the international rule set being the only thing, I think is what some people are worried about.
Not problem for that. If everything will be here, hey, what? Why not?
Right. I mean, it'd be cool for us to come out and kind of show you our game, and I would love to play some Laserball your way, you know, play with some of your players and
exactly.
get to know that a little bit.
Yeah,
all right.
Will be fun.
We'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much, and everyone go play some Laserball.
Yeah, thank you everybody, and again, and to Laserball for the win. Those Space Marines, yeah.